Hi, sweet friends. So I thought an important question for June, for gardening, for beginning gardeners, for even like container gardening, for the curious, what are we eating? Not necessarily what are we growing, what are we eating in June? This is zone 6, I'm in Massachusetts, and we're eating pretty well right now. We're eating really well right now, actually. Between what we are growing and the farmer's market, most of what we're eating right now is actually coming from a garden box that Dave built me for our very first iteration of this garden. The plan had been to build a bunch of garden boxes in this area over here. The big garden, I don't know if you can see that through the video. So that was the plan. And then when we realized that, we were living on this old farmland, it was like, ooh, maybe we don't need to build these garden boxes. Maybe we need to plant in this earth. So we did till. We've only gonna till once. We tilled once and then tilled again, but another section. So we're only tilling once because there was a lot of grass and roots, like crazy roots. We planted a lot of stuff. I have this great picture on Instagram of all the kids out. I gave them each one row to plant. And I knew the soil might not be great, so I knew it would be an experiment. I knew that whatever we put in would help feed the soil for next year. Well, things came up, and they came up incredibly well. And then they got devoured by deer and bunny. So we built the fence, and you can watch that video. It's the fence that Love built. Got the fence built. But as we were building the fence, I had to start all my plantings in this one garden box. So you do not need a lot of space to eat food in June. In that garden box, I put one packet of mesclun mix. I did high intensity lettuce plantings, 4 different lettuces, I believe. And then I did a radicchio and something else that I can't, escarole. And then beets, peas, garlic that we started in November, radishes growing in between each row of garlic. I have some carrots started along the peas, kind of tucked behind. Let me think if there's anything else in there. Dill and parsley. So we are getting a couple pounds of food a day from just mainly that garden box. I have some spinach. Oh, there's some spinach in there too. I have some spinach in the main part of the garden that's doing okay. It tastes really good. It's just not very fruitful. It doesn't look like much, but you actually can harvest quite a bit off of it. Now the biggest surprise, so we've been eating that for weeks. We've been eating greens for weeks. I pick off the tiny leaves from the mesclun mix, and then with the high intensity, Delilah's crying, the high intensity lettuce, I actually take my knife and I learned this from M.I. Gardner. You can look him up on YouTube, and he talks about high intensity lettuce planting. It's brilliant. It is so cool. You take your knife and you just slice as much lettuce as you want off. You go back in a couple days, it's all back. Like, it's more lettuce than we could ever imagine. And that was just a few seed packets, half seed packets, a quarter of a seed packet maybe. So we're eating greens, we're eating lettuce, we're eating beet greens, we're eating, I'm looking out there as I talk, we're eating so many radishes. So here's some beet greens that I just cut up. I washed them and I cut them up and put them in a baggie. Reuse your baggies, wash them, reuse them. That makes my kids crazy, but I don't know why it makes my kids crazy. They think they're dirty. Tons of radishes. These are French breakfast radishes. Let me hold that up. Those are really good. And then there's purple plum too that I had, but I don't have any of those in there. Parsley, dill. The garlic scapes just came up, so this is a once a year kind of thing. You're not going to get these again, but we have a lot of them. We have a lot of them, so we have hopefully a good garlic harvest. If you've never used a garlic scape, you use it in place of garlic or onion. It is, or green onion even. It's incredible. And this is the garlic trying to go to flower, trying to go to seed. Put up its little flower. And you can eat all of this. This is all edible. And you know, they literally hang on your wrist as you harvest them. You just cut and harvest. I've heard some people pull them from the garlic, but so if you do not grow your own garlic, go to the store, go to, you know, a health food store, go to your farmer's market, get your scapes while you can. So this is very seasonal eating. I talked about grow bags in another video. If you do not have a lot of space, if you do not have a plot of land, you can get grow bags. They are incredible. And you could grow as many greens as I am growing right now in a garden box in those bags. You could do a high intensity planting, like in a circle, little circles instead of lines in the grow bag. You could grow your radishes in the grow bag. You could grow all your lettuces, spinach, things like that. And you could just sort of mix it up. You could just put a bunch of things in. You could intercrop herbs, all sorts of things. So what I'm getting right now, you do not need land to grow. There are things you do, you know, I'm not really focused on things like broccoli or cauliflower because they take up so much space. That you need space to make it worth it. Otherwise, it's like growing one thing of broccoli. It's not worth it. But things like lettuce, things that grow over and over again, you could do. So the peas, we're getting peas every day. We've got sweet snap peas, we've got snow peas, and we've got shelling peas that are on the vine getting nice and big. I actually have peas everywhere, all over the fence. All right, so the beets we're not eating yet, just the beet greens. So as the beets grow, you could do these in grow bags too. As the beets grow, I usually take off like the 2 biggest leaves that I see, and I leave everything else, and then they regrow, and then you take off the 2 biggest leaves and they regrow. You can eat a lot of beet greens. They're delicious. We're also eating, so this morning I made an omelet. And I did like a raw goat cheddar. It was so good. I sauteed first on the side, I sauteed some sausage with radishes and garlic scapes. And then in the middle, when I cooked the omelet with the goat cheese, I put a huge handful of radish leaves and beet greens. We're not even really touching the kale. I'm gonna just have to start preserving the kale. Get that in the freezer because, or in soups or something like that to preserve them, because we are eating so many beet greens and radish greens. That is going to slow down. That is slowing down. Not the beets so much, but the radishes are slowing down. I've been succession planting because I want to eat radishes all the time. But right now I'm in a little gap. There's a lull of radish. I thought I had planted radish. I planted Chinese cabbage. This is the thing with having ADD when you garden. It's probably going to be a huge surprise. I will talk about that at some point too. All right, so what else are we eating? So we planted strawberries, but they will not come up this year. So we went to Langwater Farm, pick your own strawberries, got a huge thing of strawberries. We're eating off of those. I froze some. I may go back and get more to freeze. I don't feel the need to have strawberries all year. I don't feel the need to have most foods all year. I really enjoy eating seasonally and then missing that food so that I look forward to it again. I don't really want to have strawberries in my freezer, peaches in my freezer, and never miss them, because that's kind of the thing for me with seasonal eating is I really love missing that food so that I have the anticipation of it. Rhubarb. We got rhubarb from White Barn Farm. Made strawberry rhubarb pie. Maybe I'll make a video on that. I'll definitely make a video for my gluten-free, dairy-free pie crust because that is so worth knowing. It's so easy. So we're eating strawberries. We're eating the rhubarb. We were eating asparagus from the farm. I don't have my own yet. And so every meal right now that I'm planning has some sort of greens. We have so many bags of greens. It's really wonderful to know that in that just that small space, if I want to start a farm stand and sell, I don't have to have much more than that. I could make salad bags right now so easily, so easily. And hopefully next year I'll have sorrel. I started sorrel really late, but sorrel should be a perennial. So I'd love to have that to go with the greens as well. There's chard is growing, rainbow chard is growing. There's perpetual spinach, which is actually a chard as well. It's very good. I like it a lot. Spinach can be hard to grow, so this one, if you struggle with spinach bolting, perpetual spinach is the way to go. Nothing is happening to that one. When your spinach bolts, because it's too hot, you can actually just eat those flowers. I just pick them off and I cook them right up. So what are we eating? Last night I made, I had a chicken breast from Kalon Farms, which is quite a bit of ways, but that's where we get our meat. It's all grass-fed. I had a chicken breast, so I did some seasonings on that, a little bit of flour. I fried that up, and then I put a splash of coconut milk in, it had all these different, like Aleppo pepper, and what else did I have on there? I had white pepper. I can't even remember what I put on there. A bunch of seasonings. Oh, oregano. I fried it up, splashed in some coconut aminos and then some coconut milk just to kind of get the bits that were all yummy on the cast iron pot. And then I threw in olives, garlic scapes, and tons of spinach, probably radish greens, but I can't remember. Just any greens I could have. It was primarily spinach. And I got those all in there, kind of, stirred them up with the cream sauce. And then through that, the olives were key. Oh, and cilantro. Through that, my cilantro is all bolting, so I'm taking the tops off and I'm using it. I just take off the tough stem, but I am pulling that off. And then, so that all went in the oven. It got a little roasty and yummy, and I took it out and we served it over rice, and Dave and I were like, oh my God, this is so good. So that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm like, where can I put greens? How can I just make these really fresh meals? So every meal basically is greens. The morning it was in the eggs. In the afternoon I've been making just a very quick chopped salad with a delicious dressing. Sometimes you could put mint on your salad. You could put strawberries on your salad, whatever you have. And then at night, I'm usually cooking the greens, sauteing them somehow, cooking them down. Any of this could go in soups. The peas were mostly fresh eating, although I am chopping some up. So the snow peas got confused with the shelling peas. So I don't really know what to pick right now, so I'm letting everything get really big. And then I will pull those off, and by then I'll know what is a shelling pea. Again, when you are having a surprise garden, you just never know what you're gonna get. The daikon radish went to seed. So it is flowering and it's making these pods, edible pods. So we're gonna eat those and save some seeds. What else are we eating? Let me just look. I have to look at my garden. Oh, some cabbage. So some of the cabbage has flowered, so that's not going to make a cabbage head. So I'm pulling the leaves off of that, and we're going to eat that if it's not too tough and too bitter. Nasturtiums, the petals from nasturtiums, very peppery. Cut them up, put them in salad. I'm just scanning the garden here. Scanning the garden. So it's too early for green beans. We don't have green beans yet. Oh, zucchini. I got my first zucchini. I just posted a video on it. My first zucchini surprise. Probably going to get a lot of zucchini very quickly. It's probably going to come in like really quick. And then I have my first cucumber. So that is super exciting. I mean, these things that we're eating right now, not a ton of space. They're not taking up a lot of real estate. They're not the bigger foods. They're filling us up. They're providing like the freshest. After we went, I said, I'm not gonna buy greens. I'm not gonna buy lettuce. I'm not gonna buy that stuff. We're gonna wait. And Chloe was so excited when we started getting greens, because now we have like our greens to put on our tacos and salads and all of that. So it's wonderful. So just wanted to tell you a little bit about like that's how you're eating in June in zone 6. It's important to, you know, you watch videos of people from all over. It's very important to know who's in your zone. So if you're seeing somebody, if I'm seeing somebody in the south and they're already harvesting all this food, I'm gonna be like, what's wrong with my garden? Well, you're not in that zone. So you gotta, you know, you gotta take into account that you are gardening where you are gardening, and your start dates and end dates are gonna be very different than someone else. And you know, like a lot of things got in late and a lot of things got in super early. Zucchini and cucumbers went in, and melon went in so early. And then there were things that I planted late, beets, carrots, cabbage, things like that got planted late. And they're all working, they're all lovely, they're lovely. So don't worry so much about it, right? You'll figure it out, you'll find your flow. So if you are not growing, if you're just curious, but you're also interested in local foods, these are the things you're gonna find at your farmer's market right now. You're probably gonna find some broccolis as well. The rhubarb, I'm not quite sure how long that season is gonna go because I've never grown it, but I just try to buy it up and quickly make it, and then I freeze like the strawberry and the rhubarb together, the filling together. And let's see, what else? I guess that's mostly it. All right, well, happy eating. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.